Welcome to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. And now, it's time for our story. Once upon a time, there was an agouti named Emmanuel. Emmanuel the agouti was a clever and curious rodent that lived in the forest where the tall trees stretched high above, cooling the forest floor. Emmanuel the agouti loved running around the forest and jumping through the bushes, looking for seeds and nuts to eat and save for later. One sunny morning, Emmanuel woke up excited. He had been awakened by the smell of something wonderful in the air. Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts were his absolute favorite treat. And it seemed that today, the trees had dropped enough for him to be able to smell them on the forest floor. He already had eaten all the other nuts that were buried before, or he had waited too long to eat some of the other seeds he buried, and at this point, it was too late to eat them because those buried seeds had started to grow into plants. But it was good timing this morning that a lot of nuts fell to the ground. This was going to be a good opportunity to hide a few more seeds and nuts for later. "What a great day to store more food away," said Emmanuel the agouti out loud as he got ready to start the day. Emmanuel got out of his burrow and scampered through the forest, his nose twitching as he followed the delicious scent. He followed the scent through the leaves and windy paths under the tall trees. Soon, he reached a part of the forest floor that was scattered with large round fruit that contained seeds and all of the tasty nuts as well. Emmanuel said to himself, "This is going to take a while to bury all these nuts and seeds, but first, I must eat." He gnawed through the tough nut shells and nibbled on a few, savoring their rich flavor. But after a while, his tummy felt full, and so he decided to bury some of the nuts and seeds for later. So Emmanuel the agouti started foraging the forest floor, finding a seed and burying it in one place, then finding a nut and burying it in another place, all while keeping track in his mind where everything was buried. And as Emmanuel was burying nuts and seeds, he came across the biggest Brazil nut he had ever seen. It was almost as big as his head. He marveled at it, his eyes wide with wonder. "This will be my biggest find ever," he thought to himself. "I'll bury it in a safe spot and save it for a special occasion." It was a pretty big Brazil nut, and Emmanuel the agouti was trying to fit it in his mouth so he could take it somewhere to hide it for another day. It was a little too big for his mouth to be able to walk around looking for a place to bury it. So, Emmanuel wrapped his forepaws around the enormous Brazil nut and began to try and drag it across the forest floor. It was heavy and awkward, so he went around and tried to push it along the ground, and it started to move. He heaved and pushed, taking small breaks to catch his breath, until finally, he found a perfect spot near a large rock where the ground was soft, and so he stopped pushing the Brazil nut and began to dig a hole. Just as he was getting started, a rustling sound made his ears perk up. Emmanuel the agouti turned to see where the sound was coming from, and he saw a coati running towards him. Coatis love nuts too, and this one had its eye on Emmanuel's special gigantic Brazil nut. But coatis also eat rodents, and so Emmanuel knew that he had to think of a quick way to get the coati to leave the area. The coati sniffed the air and said, "Hoo, hi, ha, hooey. I smell a tasty agouti." Emmanuel saw the coati and wondered what to do. The coati got closer, and Emmanuel knew he had to act fast. So he quickly darted away from his digging spot, hoping to lead the coati away from his gigantic Brazil nut. "I'm over here," said Emmanuel to the coati as he scampered away. Then the coati saw Emmanuel the agouti. Its mouth started to water, anticipating a delicious meal, and it started running after Emmanuel. Then the coati said, "Hoo-hee-ho, hummock. I'm gonna put this agouti in my stomach." And it started running after Emmanuel. And so, the chase was on. As they were running through the forest, the coati said to Emmanuel the agouti, "Hey ha, Heidi-hoo. You can run fast, but I'll catch up to you." Emmanuel replied and said, "We'll see about that." Emmanuel the agouti zigzagged through the forest, his little heart pounding. The coati was fast, but Emmanuel was clever. He led the coati towards a big rock where he suddenly stopped and squeezed into a small gap between the rocks. The coati, too big to follow, scratched and sniffed at the entrance, but couldn't reach him. Emmanuel held his breath, waiting for the coati to lose interest. And after what felt like forever, the coati finally gave up and said to Emmanuel, "Hoo-hee-ha-hoant. Forget you, mangy rodent. Ha-hee-ho, I'm. I'll catch you at another time." And the coati wandered off in search of easier prey. Emmanuel the agouti sighed in relief and wriggled out from his hiding spot. He hurried back to his big Brazil nut, his mind set on burying it quickly before any more interruptions. He dug and dug, his paws flying as he scooped out the soft dirt. And at last, he was able to push the giant Brazil nut into the hole he dug out and covered it carefully with leaves and dirt. Emmanuel sat back, panting from his hard work. His tummy then rumbled loudly, reminding him that all that running and digging made him hungry again. So he looked at the spot where he had buried the big Brazil nut, and he made a decision. And with a determined nod, he dug it up out of the ground. This time, he cracked open the tough husk with his strong teeth and nibbled on the Brazil nut. The taste was even more delicious than he had imagined, and it made it all the more satisfying because he had worked so hard and outsmarted the coati to keep it safe. And as Emmanuel was finishing his big meal, he then stretched out under the shade of the trees, feeling content and full. He was then able to bury more seeds and nuts for later when he was hungry again. And even though the coati will be back again, he was happy to be able to enjoy this moment in peace, knowing well that tomorrow would bring new adventures and possibly some more nuts and seeds to bury. And the agouti lived happily ever after. The end. The agouti is any of the rodent species of the genus Dasyprocta, and they are native to Central America and Northern and Central South America. They can weigh from 5 to 13 pounds and can be from 15 to almost 30 inches long. They have short, hairless tails that you could barely see. Agoutis are generally the size of a jackrabbit. They have short, rounded ears, and their head kind of looks like a rat, but they can mostly be confused with capybaras. They do look similar and they are closely related, except agoutis are much smaller on average than capybaras. Agoutis have 3 toes on their hind feet and have 5 toes in their front. The agouti has teeth designed to gnaw on hard things, with a pair of sharp incisors in the front, and they're used to chew through tough nutshells. Their teeth enamel are layered and twisted to make their teeth even stronger. In fact, they're the only animal that can break through a Brazil nut shell, and their teeth keep growing throughout their life, which allows them to keep cracking open nuts to eat while using their molars to grind their food. The agouti has a very shiny and glossy fur, which not only helps them blend into their surroundings, but can also act as a water repellent. And their coarse hair is very oily and smelly. The agouti walks on its toes, not flat on its feet, like other rodents, and it gives the agouti an elegant look as they walk. The agouti's fur can come in shades of black, red, orange, and brown, and their underbellies are light-colored or white. They have long, strong legs in the back that help them run and jump, and they're known to be very good swimmers. The agouti rests in burrows or hollow tree trunks to protect them from their predators such as jaguars, coatis, and ocelots. Agoutis can hear and smell very well, which helps them keep away from their predators. The agouti is known to be able to jump up to 6 feet high into the air without running, and it's known to be able to spin in the air and land and sprint off in another direction. This helps them get away from their predators too. The agouti is commonly found in tropical forests and is known to live among the tall trees that provide shade. The agouti buries its food to eat later and have been known to bury nuts and seeds, and they have a really good memory of where they buried their food. Agoutis also help the environment when they bury their seeds because sometimes it could help new plants grow. Agoutis can give birth to 2 to 4 young pups, and they often live in small family groups. When agoutis eat, they sit on their hind legs and eat the food between their forepaws. Agoutis love to eat fallen fruit, leaves, roots, nuts, and seeds. They can also climb up trees to get fruit for themselves instead of waiting for them to fall on the forest floor. Agoutis can live up to 20 years. Agoutis are shy and will avoid contact with humans. Have you seen a real-life agouti before? If you have, where did you see it? Thanks for listening to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. Until next time, bye! If your child enjoys cats, drawing, or writing, you might also like my Everyday Cats Journals. They're a 4-book journal series, each with fun covers showing cats with human bodies doing silly and everyday things. Inside, kids can look for little objects from the cover that appear in the top corners of the pages and try to find them all as they write or doodle. The Everyday Cats Journals are available on Amazon. You can find all the details in the show notes.